Good evening, Saugus. Welcome to the October meeting of the Library Board of Trustees. Nice to be back. I hope that everyone is enjoying the nice fall weather. Hello, my friends at the Senior Center. Nice to see you all. It's nice to be back, and we should have a busy meeting tonight. And it is now 6:02 p.m., and I would like to call this meeting to order. So, Trustee Faringo, would you mind taking the roll?
All right. Sullivan.
Present.
Faringo, present. Director Tebow.
Present.
Bell.
Present.
Murray.
Present.
And Trustee Yeager is absent, excused.
Yeah, she's sick tonight. And the first item would be the approval of the minutes from the September meeting.
They're on the back side of the front page of the packet that you're in.
Thanks again, Trustee Faringo, for doing a great job with the minutes. You have potential as a secretary. So. Position is still open, by the way.
Is it though?
Not really, but. Does anyone see anything that you think we might need to change in the minutes?
No.
No? So, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor of approving the minutes as written from September?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And then we can move to the public comments. We do not have any members of the public right now. We may have a scout pop in maybe next month to talk about a Life Scout project. That could be exciting. That could be the most exciting meeting of the year, perhaps. So one of our scouts asked about helping out here at the library, the project. So I'll work with Director Tebow. Future Eagle Scout, perhaps, if he makes the cut. And so maybe next month we'll have that gentleman in. And the next item would be the monthly financial statement. So I will turn the table over to Director Tebow.
Turning the tables. If you turn to page 4 of the packet in front of you, you'll see the financial summary for the year. Early in the year, as we always say, we spent a bunch of money up front under the municipal non-salary lines. It's mostly the Noble bills. It will catch up and even out as the year goes on. But right now, we're right on schedule. Not a lot of information under the state aid to public libraries is earmarked for this year because we haven't done that. We'll be talking about that at tonight's meeting. And also included in your packet are, after page 7, are the printouts from Munis for the 3 principal accounts that we use.
Okay. Any questions for Director Tebow on the monthly financial statement? If not, we can move to the monthly director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Just the highlight of the evening, of course.
The highlight of the evening. A few items. I'm going to be participating in the Saugus 411 program on Saturday over at the Middle High School complex, where we, different agencies and such from the town will get together and have information for people who are newly arrived in the community. People who had moved in over the last year or so. I'm going to be co-locating with the new Friends of the Library who always participate in this, and the foundation as well, the Library Foundation. I'll be handing out our standard brochures, events calendars, primarily the children's events, and offering library card registrations for people who have proper documentation and are ready to do that. And for the ones who don't, I'll explain to them how they can go about getting it taken care of. We added a new substitute librarian to our stable, if you will, Ashley Kempkes, who works currently as a librarian for the Everett Public Schools and subs at the Wellesley Public Library. Will be starting for us, I think, sometime next month. I haven't had an occasion to call a sub yet in the last month or so, but we do have her on now. Yeah. And we're down to basically 2 subs again at this point. We had Ann Forrest, who has taken a full-time or a part-time job with us as a permanent employee. So I have two subs at this time, Jeff Clapes and Ashley. Just sort of background for it. Whenever we identify that we need additional personnel in the building, and I can generally tell well ahead of time by looking at the schedule, vacations, and then last-minute stuff like emergency call-outs, things like that. I'll put a call out to the staff. If nobody from the regular staff, the regular permanent staff, wants the shift, and we have less and less of that than we have in the past, then I'll turn to a sub after about 24 hours, if it can be, yeah. So that's how we do it. The only other difference between the substitutes and the regular staff is that the regular staff are paid from the general fund budget. We pay the substitutes from the state aid budget. Okay. The reason we do that is because generally if somebody's taking time off who's a regular employee, they're still getting paid for it, so using benefited time off. So okay. Otherwise we'd be going into deficit on our salaries, and that's really frowned upon. We were closed on the 9th in observance of Columbus Day. The current thing that's on my mind is we're examining ways in which we can suitably support some of these newly arrived immigrant families living in Saugus. I think you've all seen reports somewhere right now, in the vicinity of 500 immigrants, I think all from Haiti right now, living at the Red Roof Inn on Route 1. It's really kind of a mess right now. These folks have been dropped in here without a lot in the way of funding, without a lot in the way of state resources behind them, okay, or federal resources at this point. Trying not to point fingers here, but it's a bit of a mess, and we're trying to figure out how we can help them. I'm going to be attending a session next week on the housing crisis and migrants in Massachusetts, what librarians should know, done by the Massachusetts library system. Okay. Also reaching out to other agencies and towns. I wish I had more information for you at this time to tell you what we know, but what I've been able to find out is what we don't know, and that's a lot.
Okay.
Alan, this says town-wide efforts. Is that being led by across the street, or is the library? Presumably,
but right now across the street is still trying to figure the whole mess out.
What I'm saying is we're not going to overstep our.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the last thing we want to do for any number of reasons.
That's correct.
I'm just trying to figure out how we can best support these folks with the resources we have and the things that we can bring to the table. And
what languages are you talking about?
Well, with the group that's here now, it's primarily Creole. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a gentleman in here on Tuesday. I was working on desk, and he came in with his Haitian citizenship ID card, whatever you want to call it. Looks like a driver's license. Mm-hmm. And he said he didn't speak very much English, in fact, almost none at all, and he asked me to translate it into English for him. So it took me a couple of moments to figure out what he was asking for exactly, and what I kind of sussed out was that he wanted to be able to translate what was on that card onto application forms and things like that, job applications, information like that. I mean, he didn't even know, the field, the card says prénom for a first name. He didn't know what that was in English.
But there's a whole Haitian community here and a church here. Can we not kind of lead over to them for guidance?
Well,
maybe he doesn't know they exist, but they do.
We're all in pretty much the same.
I mean, for Haitians, I'm speaking of specifically.
I can't speak for the Haitian community in Saugus. What I can tell you is that the town has talked to various organizations around the area, like Leo, mm-hmm. people like that, and they don't have anything they can do for us right now. So what I was trying to illustrate with this small story is that's the level that we're working at with these folks right now. They don't speak English.
Right.
They're not familiar with the culture. They're getting food they are getting some food from the Cliftondale Congregational Food Pantry. They don't know what to do with it.
Understood.
Yeah.
And GLIS might be in Lynn might be a great resource because many of the programs that they have are extended to the Haitian community. So you might want to check with them just for some guidance.
Yeah, I'll pass that across the street to let them know that. But right now, I think it's just, as the governor has said, it's a burgeoning crisis. She's already declared it an emergency, and everybody's just trying to figure out what we can do beyond the basic of making sure these people are fed and have a roof over their head. And that's where we're at right now. So we're ready and willing to help as we can and as we should, but I don't really have a clear direction to go in at this point. I wish I could tell you, wish I had better news for you on that front than I do. Sort of related to that, we're planning to begin holding a weekly English language learning class here at the library, and we also want to find somebody to run a weekly conversation circle for us. I've been trying to find somebody to do that. It seems like this is probably a seller's market around the area right now because this is going on in 80 communities around the state. And I'm not talking just for this particular group, I'm talking for a larger group.
Okay.
So I'm working on that as well, trying to come up with instructors for that. The classes, if we run them, we'll probably end up paying for now until I can find some grant funding for them.
Yep.
And I'm going to be factoring that into the earmark for state aid to public
Yeah, we
libraries.
started
We'll
that
talk
before
about
the
it a little
pandemic.
later.
Remember we started that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we had it ready to. We had the language conversation circles ready to go, and it was supposed to start up in April, and we shut down on March 14th, 2020. Yeah.
There's a program, going back to GLIS again, that can help out with funding if twice a year they put out an RFP for anyone who has a program within the community that can use assistance. And it doesn't have to just be for seniors. And they would fall into this. We would have to fill out, submit paperwork for it.
I think that what we're going to find here is that the problem is so large right now and widespread that GLIS not going to have answers for us.
I didn't say they had the answers. I said they have funding. And we have, if you need monies,
Okay.
the funding can be there if we fill out the appropriate paperwork. And how do I know? Because I'm on the committee that okays that funding.
Mm-hmm.
I'll circle back on that with you.
Well, thanks for bringing that back.
Yeah, it's not very encouraging, unfortunately, but we see what we can do. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any questions for Director Tebow? And no, the Cultural Council calendar is up for application deadline, so I'll make an appearance at the voting meeting to advocate for the library. So
We've been putting in our funding
just
requests.
we show. If you could brief me first, we'll have a briefing meeting so I can go in with all my metrics and data. Since we serve 1,400 people at the Ironworks, so I'll be the advocate at the Cultural Council meeting for the library. Just now I can freely advocate for my friends. And let's see, any old business that we should bring up? Director Tebow, Alan, Bill.
I think so.
Any old business? Okay. And the only new item would be the state aid to public libraries request that Alan would like to discuss with us.
Yeah, as you're all aware, the current policy of the Board of Trustees has been to maintain a prudent reserve of not less than $120,000 in the state aid to public libraries fund. It's a pool of money left untouched operationally, available for use as a stopgap measure in case there are massive 9C cuts or something like that at mid-year. It's not a lot, but it will help a bit. Salaries with this year's budget are going to average almost $13,000 a week. So with that prudent reserve, we could fund about 9.5 weeks of salaries. The materials expenditure requirement for this fiscal year is $110,000. The prudent reserve would actually cover all of it if we needed to. And the entire budget is going to average $16,213 per week. So with the prudent reserve of $120,000, we could fund operations for about 7.5 weeks if needed to. I'm not saying we'd use it necessarily that way, but that's just to give you an idea of what we could do with it.
Okay.
Each year I come to the board and I request some operational funds. I call them earmarks. These funds supplement the municipally appropriated operations budget, which I talked about earlier in the budget briefing, the general fund, if you will. And the earmark is currently limited. We've limited it to a total of not to exceed $20,000 per year. At present, there are about actually almost $212,000 sitting in the state aid account. That number has grown fairly dramatically over the past few years, where we were seeing awards in the mid-20 teens in the area of about $34,000 to $35,000 a year. This past year, we got about $56,000. So we've actually averaged over $48,000 from the state in the last 3 years. So we've been spending no more than 20, but getting in a lot more money. So due to an anticipated increase in programming costs, and that's just what I just talked about, dealing with this influx of immigrants and other things we'd like to do, I would like to make a proposal that the earmark not necessarily be limited to the $20,000 figure that we have adhered to over the past several years. Instead, I recommend that I be allowed, or the library be allowed, to submit a recommendation which takes into consideration the previous year's award, how big it was, as well as any current needs of the library, anticipated future financial circumstances so we can make sure we're not breaking the bank at the same time, and any other relevant factors which might influence the amount of money that we would need annually. As always, of course, this board is the approving authority on my request. So my recommendation this year is additional material funds for $4,000 if we need them. Program and program supplies, $21,000. I'll talk about that in just a moment. General supplies, $3,200, and professional development, $1,750, for a total earmark this year of $30,000. This would be a 50% increase over what we had last year. The main increase that you're looking at here is in the programs and program supply line. We've been averaging about $13,000 in programming spent over the last few years. This year, I anticipate probably spending another $8,000 or so to handle the English language learning program that we want to run. So what I did was I upped the program supplies to $21,000. Okay. So that's where you see most of your increase here. So again, I'll be asking for an earmark of $30,000 this year, kind of split up this way, and also for a loose permission, if you will, I guess, to keep the earmark instead of limiting it to try to look at the financial realities each year and decide how much money we can afford to put out and how much we need.
And we do a robust set of programs.
Yes. Yeah.
We do that very well. So.
Yeah, and all of our program supplies basically come from state aid at this point. The town does give us about $1,600 a year, and that really sort of covers our program supplies, if you will, craft supplies, things like that, art supplies for some of the programs, books, whatever it is we have to get done. That's where we use the town money for, as far as paying for the performers and that sort of thing, or whoever's giving the program, that comes out of state aid.
Plus, you have to figure in inflation. We've had about 15% inflation in the past 2 years, so at least. If you go to the grocery store, it's a lot more. $7 for a pound of bacon.
But I think we can make it work with the 21. You figure if you factor in the money that we do get from the Cultural Council, we received a grant of $1,600 this year from the Massachusetts Cultural Council for the festivals grant. Kind of figuring all those things in, I think that $21,000 will be good, and I plan to apply for the festivals grant again next year.
Is this helping with the programs that we lost because the fund at the CFCE?
A bit, yes. Yeah, we're paying for a few of those as well now. Yeah. The impact on that wasn't horrible.
Okay.
It wasn't good, but it wasn't
Yeah,
horrible.
it was.
Yeah.
That's too bad, yeah. So you can cover some of that. But
Yeah.
that was kind of sudden. Just,
Those are popular. I know a lot of people like those.
Yeah, there were a couple of them that we particularly believed in, particularly the Let's Get Ready for Kindergarten, the stuff that prepares kids to go to school, the social, the friendship story time, which is sort of the social, emotional aspect of it, the things that the schools really can't give them, and it extends beyond the home, if you will. So I think those are important, so we really wanted to fund those.
Funny, when I was a little kid at the Parlin Public Library in Everett, I attended something like that. It was called library school. I think I was 3 or 4. My mom used to bring me. So you can blame that for why I'm here now.
Yeah, I mean, the kids, Let's Get Ready for Kindergarten, it's like it teaches the kids how to use scissors.
Yeah, it's kind of like something like that.
The little things like that they may not, depending on where they live, their home and their family life, they may not get that at home.
No.
So
We have knives in my house. But
it's important so that when kids do start their formal schooling,
Yeah.
they're ready for
They
it.
have some of those skills.
Yes.
that's good.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't have any objections to what you're asking for, and I think it all makes perfect sense, given that we're running more programming and we're fitting the needs of the community. So, anybody have any questions? Good, Director Tebow? Okay, well, if we could have a motion to approve the state aid to public libraries allocation of $30,000 to cover programming and supplies. If we could have someone make a motion.
Motion for that.
Second.
All in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
And then over the course of the year, we could always discuss if we need more, say for bollards, or if we need more bollards, or defensive things.
Right, yeah, we talked about that, and the board did give us permission to
Yeah. So
pursue that for some of our facilities initiatives.
yeah, something down the road. And any public comments? Nope, no members of the public. Well, maybe next month. And I would say we could hold our next meeting on Thursday, November 9th, if people are around with your busy calendars. Weddings, travel, visiting family.
I'm here.
You're here? You here? You here?
Thinking of traveling, but
Where
I
you
have
traveling
nothing.
to?
I don't know yet.
We can excuse you. We'll have to kidnap Sabrina, even if she's sick. We'll bring her here.
But I'm here as of right now.
We'll throw a mask on her. All right, so November 9th, we'll pencil in for now. November 9th, Saugus TV. And anyone else have any comments they'd like to share?
Yeah, the early voting will take place at the library beginning of, right? You want to
Yeah, on the
speak to that?
28th. On the 28th. Yeah,
October
thank you,
28th.
Gail. I should have mentioned that. They're going to come in and set the place up. It's only going to be one day.
One day?
This time, yeah. So it'll be Saturday.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Halloween weekend, too. There you go.
It's like a horror movie.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
But the election of the,
None of the above is an option, folks. None of the
Oh, it's
above.
okay. We all get along now, don't we, Bill?
Sure.
That's right. Well, I love Halloween. My birthday's November 1st, so when I grew up, Halloween, I had a 2-day party. So I always enjoyed Halloween. I was going to bring a pumpkin tonight, but my wife told me no messing up the meeting. So if I could have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:25 p.m.
Motion to adjourn the meeting?
Someone second said motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. The meeting is adjourned at 6:25. Thank you, Saugus. Have a happy Halloween. If I don't see any of you out there, and a good evening all. Thank you.